Hey, what's up you guys? It's Six. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video marks the start of a new thing that I'm going to be doing for both YouTube and Patreon. So if you're new to the channel or somehow don't know about the Patreon yet, I do have one. It's patreon.com/six.studios. And every single month I do this thing where I put up a couple of themes and you guys vote for your favorite, and then I create a print and a sticker each month to kind of represent that theme, obviously. And then if you're in my matcha and chamomile tiers, you will get those rewards physically in the mail. And if you're on any of the other tiers, then you get fun behind the scenes things like sketches, whips. Obviously you get to participate in the theme vote. And then also you get regular speed paints that are just like the Procreate speed paints with no voiceover or anything like that. But then recently I decided that I wanted to start doing a thing where I would showcase one half of the merch on my YouTube channel, obviously, which is what you guys are seeing now, and then the other half will be its own quote-unquote YouTube video, but it will be a Patreon exclusive video, so it will be unlisted, and the only way to access that video will be if you are a patron. But it will be fully formatted the same way that I do all of my other YouTube videos. So if you're curious to see the other half of the rewards, I want to see what those look like or anything like that, feel free to go check out the Patreon. Again, it's patreon.com/six.studios. Now let's get into the first half of the rewards. So the themes for this month, the options were Moon Festival, Autumn Festival, and I believe rejected Halloween candy, which I am going to recycle next month because I want to do it so bad, which is something that I do sometimes if I am really stuck on like a theme and I want to do it, but it doesn't win. I will stick it back in there, especially because like next month is Halloween. Maybe I got a little excited about Halloween a little too early, so I think that is what happened here. But obviously you guys are seeing that the Moon Festival is the one that won for this month, for September. So if you're not familiar, the Moon Festival, from my understanding, is a celebration, or it was previously a celebration of a successful autumn harvest. I'm sure there's some people that celebrate it this way still, but it is now traditionally more like kind of like a togetherness celebration, I guess. I think in some places it's called like the Festival of Reunion, things like that. But overall, it was, it's also called, I think, the Mid-Autumn Festival as well. It's just essentially, again, like I said, a previous celebration of a successful autumn harvest, which is why it's autumn themed, happens in September, all of that. So a lot of the themes for the Moon Festival, you will see things like moon cakes, obviously, but there's also the rabbit, which is, I think there's a lot of like folktales and things about a rabbit in the moon or a rabbit on the moon, and I thought it's the year of the rabbit. It's 2023. 23 is an important number for me. I was also born in year of the rabbit, which is why back in January I created a character for that specific thing. I was very, very excited that, you know, again, it's Lunar New Year, year of the rabbit, 23, all of things that are very close and near and dear to me, so I decided to create a character for that. And I thought, wouldn't it be perfect if I took a character that I created for Lunar New Year and used her again for the Patreon theme for the, you know, the Moon Festival. And so I got to work, and you guys are now officially seeing the print portion of these two rewards. So this print, oh my goodness, when I tell you, I am so thrilled about the way that it came out. I'm very much not a person that does scenes. I try so hard, but everything in me wants me to make scenes like painterly. That is how I illustrate them. That is how I know how to do them. But blending that with my style, that is very much like more stylized. It has, you know, like very solid visible line art, things like that. I haven't figured out how to mesh those two styles yet. I'm very much doing it more and more, but I'm still kind of learning in that area. And so I was so scared to tackle this piece because I knew from the get-go that I wanted it to not be character focused. Character focused in the way that it wasn't taking up the bulk of the illustration. It was a small focal point. Yes, that's where your eye is supposed to go, obviously, onto this little character, but I didn't want it to be like the biggest portion of the illustration, as my prints and designs often are, because I'm very much, I would consider myself to be a portrait or a character artist primarily, but I wanted to put a lot more focus on the moon and the lanterns and the festival aspect, because that's a huge part of the Mid-Autumn Festival, or the Moon Festival, whatever you want to call it, whatever you do call it personally, if this is something that you celebrate. A big portion that I see is like these lanterns, you know, like it's a lantern festival at night. It's very beautiful, and I wanted to capture that in the print and have that be the main focus for this piece. So again, we're starting off with the character, and I'm really proud of how she turned out actually as well, because I have trouble with full bodies. They are hard. They are difficult. And then also from this perspective, never done. If I ever draw a character that's facing away from the camera this way, it's more often than not a turnaround where I already have the front of the illustration complete, and all I have to do is copy paste it and then erase all of the front facing features and flip it and have it be the backside, and then I just kind of like, you know, draw everything in from there. But I started in from the back on the get-go, and I'm surprised that it looks that way. I don't know how else to describe it other than describe. I don't know how else to describe it other than it looked the way that I intended it, and that was a shock to me. I was very surprised how quickly the lines came together, and then how quickly the piece just started coming together. I don't know. Something that was really helpful about having this character already made in January as well was having the colors already predetermined for me. I could just color pick everything and not worry about like spending hours trying to get a color scheme going and things like that. I already knew this character that I made again back in January or was it January? Yes, it was January, I think, for Lunar New Year, was very red, white, and yellow focused, because those are very like good luck colors, and I wanted to have good luck in the new year, obviously, so I wanted to incorporate that into this character. So I did that again for this piece as well, and it was really fun to just color pick and just draw the same character again. I almost never draw the same character more than once. If I do, it's kind of like an OC, I guess. And I don't know if I would say that she is, because I never gave her a name. She doesn't have a story or anything like that. I just wanted to create a cutesy little character that I thought was going to be a one-off for the Lunar New Year, but it was so fun to like come back and redraw the same character again. And again, the rendering went so smoothly. Wow. Brain, so smoothly. It was really nice. Really fun to just do the same thing again. And then quickly, after we got her out of the way, it was time to start rendering the scene, the background, which is when I started to get a little bit scared, because again, like I said, I have not quite figured out how to mesh my two styles together, but I think in this piece it worked so freaking well. So I started off with the sky, which is easy. I can do a sky. Sky's easy peasy. You just gotta blend, basically. So I started off with kind of like a dark mid-tone-ish purpley blue, and then I went in with a darker, more strictly blue, less purpley navy, and then for the top I did a more like a teal cyan, and then I did a little Gaussian blur, I think, or maybe I didn't. I think I just went straight in with the airbrush and called it good. But I might have done a Gaussian blur. I usually do. I wouldn't be surprised if I did for this piece, but I can't remember if I did or not. But then after that is when I started to get a little cheeky, because stars, the night sky, is where I've had a little bit less familiarity with. Usually I'm doing like sunsets or like, you know, midday or like clear sky kind of portraits. A lot of people are like, can you draw, you know, me and X person, or these characters, blah blah blah, or OCs in like a sunset as like commission backgrounds and stuff. So I do those very often and very familiar with them. But when it comes to doing like stars and constellations and the night sky, I'm like, I don't know as well. So I started to go in with the galaxy brush, or the nebula brush. I think it's under the lighting section in Procreate, and I went in very softly because I wanted to give the illusion of like a very clear sky with a lot of stars. But that is where my downfall, because I really like how this turned out, but as I was working on it, it was my downfall, because I was like, oh my goodness, I went in so lightly that what I normally do is I'll go in a little heavier, and I'll pick out, like, what stars are jumping out to me. Now let's jump them out even more. Let's add some, some, what do you call it? Like the little straight lines that come out of it, a glare, I guess. I'm not sure what the actual word is. If you have astigmatism, the things that the lines that come down, more of those, but on stars, and make it pretty. And so I'll do some of that. But because I went in so lightly with the nebula brush for this particular piece, it meant that I couldn't actually see a lot of those stars that normally jump out at me. So I was just kind of having to use my best judgment, pop some stars all over the place, try not to go too crazy with not the afterglow, but like the rim lighting. I don't know what these things are called. Can you tell I'm not a scene portrait? Oh my gosh, I'm not a landscapey person. I don't know how to do this. I don't know what the words for anything are, but I'm trying my best. I really wanted to do a scene for this. So the glow that comes out around stars, I didn't want to go too heavy with that, because I wanted most of the light from this piece to be focused on the actual lanterns that are lighting up the sky. Obviously, for obvious reasons, I wanted the lanterns to be the next biggest focus, which is where we should be currently working on. So we have these lanterns, and at first I was just going to do your standard kind of like circle and square and oval lanterns, as you guys probably saw from the few little snippets I popped up of the rough sketch, if you guys noticed in the speed paint. But I decided that I wanted to kind of, do more research, be more accurate, and also have more variety throughout the lanterns, because obviously you have all of these people, all types of different, like, tastes and interests and things. They're gonna have their own, taste for lanterns. It's not just all gonna be, like, all circles, all rectangles, There's gonna be a lot more shapes and fun little designs. So I went and I did some research, and I found some other more traditional lantern shapes. One of my favorite ones that I included in this piece was one that looks kind of like accordion-y. I saw one that was like this beautiful, like, teal blue that had like these flowers all up the side of it, and I just thought it was so beautiful. So I did that one, and then I peppered in a few more traditional shapes here and there. We had the circle lantern, obviously. I think I have, I don't know how you would describe this shape, but it's like, it comes out and then it goes in skinny. I don't know how to describe that, but that was a more traditional shape I saw. The one in the top left corner was actually supposed to be a square, but it was a perspective issue. I like drew it super curved, and then I was like, wait, that kind of looks cool though, so I kept it. And then there's one, I think, in the top right that is more of like a parachute-y shape. So yeah, I was just kind of trying to gather, like, look, yes, what are common, I almost said parachute shapes because I just said parachute. What are common lantern shapes, but then also what are ones that are interesting, that stick out to me. And then I got all of those laid out on the page. And something that upset me so much was after I had finished rendering all of these and finished with the piece, I was really interested, so I just kept staring at the lanterns and like scrolling through, Google search, just looking to see what other options there are. And I was so upset because I saw this really cute set that was like very stylized, like cartoony almost lanterns, because they were like really bold white and they had like line work on them that were so cute. There was a moon, a cat, and then a fish, or I think it was like takoyaki or something like that, something similar to that. I'm sure a bunch of different cultures have different names for the same thing, but it was like a fish cake shaped lantern, and I was like, you are so cute. I wish I had added more like little fun lanterns like that, but I didn't see them until after I'd finished rendering, and I was not gonna go back in and touch this piece because I was super happy with it. So anyway, getting back into the lanterns, I tried to incorporate some colors that I knew were lucky in there. Of course, I added in some red and some yellow, but then I went and I was looking around and I was like, what are, a lot of lantern colors that I'm seeing repeatedly? So I added in some orange. Again, there was that beautiful blue one that I saw. There are a lot that are just plain white, so I added that in as well. And then once I had all of the colors down, I was like, okay, now I need to work on two things: making these look semi-transparent and also making them look warm, because something that I was really struggling with was once I had added that blue overlay in, because again, it's dark, it's nighttime, obviously there's not lights, so the character wouldn't be super bright while the background's super dark, right? So I did a multiply layer over top that was blue, but then I was like, that dimmed everything, including my lantern. So I really need to work with like layer modes and things like that, try to figure out how I can get that warmth back in. And it took a long time of me making so many little minuscule edits, things like I did a subtraction layer to add some more red back in over that lantern, the little round one, because I thought it's not red enough, gotta have more red in here. So I did a subtraction layer with a bright green, went overlaid on that, and then I was like, the warmth again from the lanterns, it's gone. They're lit on fire, but they don't look yellow, they don't look warm, they don't look bright enough. So I was like, okay, I'll make a tiny layer here and I'll do some white and I'll like Gaussian blur it so it looks like there's a light burning inside the lantern, but then the light's not giving off any color, any warmth. It's supposed to be fire, it's not just bright white light, right? So I need to do another layer mode where I try to put some like oranges and yellows and really get these colors back in. And I eventually settled on, I think it was like a vivid light layer or something like that. And oh my gosh, I was obsessed with what it did to this piece. I don't know how or why, I can't explain it to you, but I did that and it made like a beautiful like yellow glow, but then it was like purple around the outer rim, and I was like, oh my god, that is so pretty. I would not have been able to come up with that on my own. It is so beautiful, so gorgeous. It just made everything look so poppy, so vibrant, so pretty. So I definitely left it there, and I think I finished a little bit with just adding some rim lighting to the character, adding in a couple of more brighter lights here and there, and then the piece was finished. So this is the official print for September. It is again the Moon Festival this month over on Patreon, and I'm so happy with the print. I feel like it turned out so pretty, and again, I'm just shocked with myself. I don't do scenes, I don't do them because it's hard and it's confusing. I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I did this, and I really like it. I hope you guys like it as well. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to my patrons who have made this video and a lot of other videos possible as well. So thank you so much to Elise Thompson, Duran, Mandy, Schleeps, Created by Twins, Inky Moo Art, Psychwalker Art, Fish Nor Flesh, Akita Kai, Watery Turd, and Daru. You guys are, again, the absolute best. I could not do this if it were not for you guys, so I really appreciate you. If you are impressed with this print as well and you want it for yourself, or if you just want to see what the other speed paint looks like, because that's going to be available at all tiers starting at literally $1. If you're interested in that extra YouTube video a month or any of the other Patreon rewards, again, that is patreon.com/six.studios. I love you guys so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.